I don't even know if I'm tall enough. Grab the peach. Grab it. Get it. Get it off. Get it. Get it off. No, get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Can you get it? Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Ah, wait, I'm gonna get it. We had what felt like the most exciting week around here. It was all little mundane things, but all of them adding up was just so fun. So first of all, as you just saw, we had 2 little baby deer nesting in our yard. Of course, this is not good for my garden, but I just loved seeing them and seeing my daughter react to them, that it was more than worth my sunflower harvest being completely taken out by the mom. And also, one of our peach trees is ripe. So that is the first thing that I have going this week, is picking some peaches and starting a peach cobbler. Peach cobbler is something that I only make in summertime because I just refuse to buy peaches whenever I have 2 peach trees in my yard. So this is just one of those things that tastes like July and a hot summer to me, and I absolutely love it. The days in summer are long, which means I have a lot of time to bake and be outside in my garden, just relaxing outside under the pergola with the girls while my toddler is playing on her water table. These are days that I absolutely love, but I also know that they can be viewed as boring by some. And so I want to talk about why I think that being a stay-at-home mom absolutely can be boring, and why I think that that's the reason I love it so much. Removing harmful toxins and microplastics is one of the jobs that I have taken on as the keeper of our home. It's really important to me that if we are going to dedicate time to growing food and sourcing healthy food and actually cooking it, that the vessel that we are cooking it and storing it in does not have harmful microplastics or toxins. That is one of the reasons why I am a big Caraway fan and have been for a really long time, and they are the sponsor of today's video. If you guys have been hanging out on this channel for literally any amount of time, you are very familiar with Caraway because we use it basically every single day. Caraway is a non-toxic kitchenware brand, and their pans are naturally non-stick. They are made without PTFE, PFOA, PUFAs, and other forever chemicals. Like I said, I'm a big old Caraway fan, and we have been using the cookware set for a really long time in our kitchen. It includes everything that you need to cook. So there are 4 pans and 3 lids and storage for all of it. I also recently got to try their food storage set, which I am very excited about and I am absolutely loving. I love that even when it comes to storing my food, we are avoiding those forever chemicals and microplastics. They are also super easy to use because they are microwave, oven, refrigerator, and freezer safe. I recommend that you buy your Caraway in bundles. This saves you 20% versus buying them individually, and you can stack my code on top of that for extra savings. If you are wanting to eliminate forever chemicals and microplastics in your kitchen, I highly recommend checking out Caraway. Like I said, go to their site and get a bundle, and then you can use my code for an additional 10% off, and that works on anything on their site. I know that you guys will fall in love with Caraway just like we did in our kitchen. Thanks so much to Caraway for sponsoring today's video. Last summer, I saw this fabric on Facebook Marketplace, and I immediately knew that I wanted to go get it and make matching dresses for my daughters the following summer. So I had known that I was pregnant with a girl whenever I bought this, and I immediately envisioned 4th of July dresses matching for my girls. And so I'm excited that I actually am doing this project. I get idealistic with sewing projects literally all the time. So to actually see one where I thought of something and executed it is pretty big for me. I love sewing patterns from Oh Me Oh My Sewing for Kids. I love it because they're very easy to print at home and put together, and they're very easy to follow. But I find that I really want kids' patterns to be easy to assemble and put together at home because they're constantly changing sizes, and I look for kids' projects to be faster projects. So this just adds to that. Anyways, both of these patterns are from Oh Me Oh My Sewing. I am following the Magnolia dress completely for my toddler, and then I am using the Magnolia dress bodice for my little baby, but I am using the Amelia romper bottoms so that she can have snaps. I just find that to be a little bit more convenient for a baby, and I am making these at the exact same time just so that I can kind of knock them out. And with the same bodice, that'll be really easy because it's just one set of instructions until I get to the bottom half of the garment. I think sometimes whenever people think about being a stay-at-home mom, they think that they might be bored, or they think that they maybe would be bored had they done that. And I want to offer the completely opposite perspective. Being a stay-at-home mom definitely has its moments where you have a lot of open-ended time, especially with one or two children. Of course, that's all I can speak to because that's all I have. But I feel like I have a lot of times whenever I am the one responsible for filling that time. Of course, it's important that I use my time wisely because I am also, at least in our house, mostly responsible for the cooking and the cleaning. So I do have actual things that need to get done in order for us to have an efficient and lovely home. But even with those tasks, even with the kids, even with the cooking and the cleaning, I find that there is a lot of time that I have that I just get to choose how I spend it. And I think that this is what people mean whenever they say that it is boring. However, I think that I've noticed that if I'm responsible with that time, it's actually very, very exciting and freeing because I get to do and explore things that I've always wanted to do and explore. I certainly can't speak on behalf of all stay-at-home moms, but this is a skill that I had to learn and get better at. Actually using my time to do something like sew or garden or bake and not just scroll on my phone was something that took me several months to learn and made a massive difference in how I feel about being a stay-at-home mom.
I'm gonna get over here. Mommy, you make potatoes for me?
Are those potatoes?
Uh-huh,
You pretending?
I'm intending.
Of course, I am not perfect at this, and Pretty much everything that I share in this video and just on this channel are things that I've observed in my own life as a young mom who's just trying to learn the best way to do this. For me, I'm certainly not perfect at it, but I have observed that when I am in a season of using my time well, or I'm excited about a hobby, I'm actually making something with my hands or being productive, as opposed to when I just don't have much going on or I don't have many projects that I'm excited about. I notice that I am literally a better person. I'm more productive with my time. My mind does not feel bogged down. That is something that definitely happens with screen time. I find that my creativity gets drained very quickly, as opposed to when I'm doing actual work with my hands and really actually doing things. I find that I am more creative and happier. I'm just overall a better person, and I like to think a better mom. But even with all of that being true and me knowing that in my head, it's still hard to actually convince yourself of that whenever you are sitting down thinking, okay, like, what am I going to do today? Or what am I going to work on this week? That's why I do think that it is a learned skill and a skill that you can get better at. I view social media or screen time or just really anything that's not intentional as kind of like the lowest hanging fruit of entertainment. It is easy. You have to put in such little effort in order to do it, but it will occupy your brain and sort of convince yourself that you don't need any deeper forms of entertainment or creativity. It kind of fills this void with the easiest possible way, but it's not actually filling it, or at least in my experience, it doesn't actually fill it. It leaves my brain bogged down and gives me more ideas than I know what to do with. It drains my creativity 100%, as opposed to working with my hands or doing something that feels more real and more productive. I think that the biggest fear, especially nowadays when things are very quick and easy and everything is very convenient, the biggest fear is wasting time. But what I have to tell myself when I am worried that a sewing project might not turn out, or I might work on baking something and it's just going to taste bad, like I would waste my time. What I have to tell myself is that I am wasting more time thinking about this or trying to plan this more, being on my phone. That is also not productive time. It just doesn't feel bad because you're not actually doing it. And so if it doesn't turn out, you don't feel like you're wasting time. But I am wasting time whenever I am actively choosing to not be doing something whenever I could be doing it. And the reality is that when it comes to hobbies, especially the hobbies that I have, like gardening and sewing, there are some things that you just will not know until you actually do them. But once you do them, you can actually learn rather quickly. You can pick up little essential skills for each of those hobbies pretty quickly.
Hey, what is that?
This is an iron for your guys' dresses. Like a little romper.
What's this? Let's try to get one.
Close that. Okay, hold on. There is, of course, also the fear of wasting money when it comes to baking or gardening. Most of the time, you'll end up with a product. It might not be exactly what you had set out for, but it usually will not be a total waste. And with sewing, I definitely encourage you to try out lower stakes projects at first. I don't know that I would ever recommend someone's first project be an adult garment with $30 a yard linen. However, if you could just thrift a bed sheet or even thrift some fabric, you might be surprised at how much fabric is readily available at thrift stores, and make a little girl's dress for either your daughter or someone in your life. They will absolutely love it, and it will turn out in some fashion for them. The fit might not be perfect. The fabric choice might not be 100% what an adult would like, but for kids, it's just such lower stakes. And so if you are worried about wasting money or time, starting with those cheaper, lower stakes projects would be a really, really good way to just gain confidence in a hobby and also get yourself moving towards a direction of actually working with your hands and being productive, as opposed to just sitting idle and being bored as a stay-at-home mom. Like I said before, this is all just stuff that I have observed from being a stay-at-home mom. This is just stuff that has helped me. I am by no means an expert, as I have been doing this for less than 3 years. So by no means an expert, but I do hope that my little observances have helped and inspired you. And that is all for this week. Here is the final product of my little girl's dresses. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and thank you so much for watching. Make sure to head to the link in my description to get your own Caraway pans and food storage.